Hey everybody, and welcome back to the New York Cross Harbor. In this video today we're going to be putting the finishing touches on this route by detailing the engine shed that you see in front of you here. Let's get started. The very last thing that this route needed here was the engine shed, and this is sort of a hallmark of this route. If you've ever seen pictures of the New York Cross Harbor, aside from that building that the track cuts into on the corner of 41st Street and 2nd Avenue, you'll see a lot of photos of the engines at the engine shed. And that was the final element, I think, that was missing from this route. And I had it custom made for me, and we are going to do a little detailing here. I wanted to make sure that I included the details on the inside of the engine shed just because I thought that that would be a really cool thing to model. So this video is all about adding details to the inside of this engine shed. In order to actually work inside of here, I had the model also made without a roof so that I could actually get in there and place some of these assets. I did put everything on a separate layer, so the building is on a separate layer, and all of these little details are also on a separate layer, so later on when you guys get the route, you can toggle this off if you don't want to have all those details in there, if it's lagging your system down or something like that. So all these details are on their own layers and they will be toggleable on and off, but I just think it looks so cool, and it's just a really nice touch to just bring it all to life in the end. So in order to do this, I made a pick list of interior details. I spent a little bit of time thumbing through some other routes and just thumbing through the download station and assets that I had installed. And I just created a pick list for interior details like cabinets and desks and toolboxes and things like that. And I'm just working right off of that. And that was the easiest way that I could come up with to get everything in there that I wanted to. And, you know, once I figured out where these assets were going to be placed, it was easy enough to just move them around and get them exactly where I wanted them, especially using Surveyor 2, and also having the ability to toggle layers on and off. Unfortunately, since we are working inside of the building, if I tried to click an asset, it would select the building. So I had to be able to constantly toggle the building on and off in order to select the assets that I wanted to. But it's easy enough to rotate things and move them around with Surveyor 2, so that helped a lot. And I was actually surprised by the amount of assets that I came across for interior details, like these shelves here with boxes on them and workbenches and toolboxes and things like that. And I kind of felt bad for not using them in other builds, and I'm gonna keep this pick list as long as I can and try to incorporate details like this into other things going forward. And you know, the other thing is with this route, it is so ultra detailed to begin with that it would sort of be a crime to leave the engine shed of all things like bare of details. So you know, I couldn't help myself. I had to. In order to round everything out, I had to do this. And I think it's also worth mentioning that I did include a lot of the other super details that are around the route in various other places. I did put those on their own layer as well. So again, when you guys get this route, if it is running slow for you or something like that, you can toggle some of those details on and off and see if that works and shows some improvement for you. And as mentioned, this is the last bit of this route. Everything else is done. I mean, I'm adding some details here and there just because I can, but otherwise the route is basically in releasable condition. I'm currently working on putting together some sessions so to include with it so that you guys actually have something to do on the route. And that's something that I missed out on with the P&B, and I'm hoping maybe after this project, maybe I will create a few sessions to include separately for the P&B. But in the meantime, until over the next, I don't know, week or two or three, depending on what kind of availability I have. I will be working on sessions for this route, and I'm trying to include like maybe 2 formal sessions and then a free play type session. So the 2 formal sessions will be directed just like any other session. It'll be like, you know, go over here and a couple of these cars, bring them back to the yard, and, you know, do some work sort of thing. So I just have to develop that and program it, and that'll take me a little bit of time. But otherwise, this route should be out pretty soon. The next video you're gonna see of the Cross Harbor will be the release video, and hopefully that will be very soon. So at this point, I wanted to add some oil splotches and things like that to the floor. And, you know, I mean, there's going to be oil spills on the concrete floor and grease and stuff like that. So that had to be added in. And thankfully, we have some decals now that you can do such a thing with. And I tried to make sure that they weren't clipping into anything weird. I think that they're at the right height and that they're scalable. I believe these are also on their own layer. So if you want to toggle these on and off, you can do so. And now for the last part of detailing this building. The interior is looking pretty good in my opinion, but we needed to add something to the rooftop. The rooftop was looking a little plain. I mean, don't get me wrong, the model looks good and the textures look good, but this is the rooftop in an industrial district. It has been neglected. It's a very old building, so I wanted to make sure I added some stains and some growth and some garbage up top. So I'm using an assortment of pond scum and oil stains, grease stains, and some other garbage. And again, this is also on its own layer. I had to do so actually so that when I do toggle the building on and off, I could get into the assets underneath. So the rooftop details are also on their own layer. And using Surveyor 2 here, what I did was once I got the height of one of these assets in place, I simply held Control and dragged to clone it, and then I used the Replace tool to replace it with another asset that I wanted to put on the top. And I really think that this added a lot of detail to this building. I really like it. It's like a whole nother dimension of weathering, I guess, to these types of structures. And I think it looks really good. It adds a lot to it. And the very last part of this build of this video is to just add a little bit of detailing on the outside. We had to round off some of the scenery around the building here because I had some scenery in place here. I had to move it once we made the building and things had to get shifted around. So we gotta add some more details here. So I thought I'd add maybe a little sitting area for the workers to have a smoke break and sit outside and relax, watch some trains, and add some other garbage and grass and things like that. And that's gonna do it for this video. Just a little short one. That's about all I had left for work to do on the Cross Harbor. Like I said, the route is done and it is pretty much releasable. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this little mini series. If you'd like to help support the channel, please consider checking out the Patreon. I do weekly posts there and live streams that are for patrons only. I've got some N-scale stuff there as well. So if you're interested in supporting what I do, not just Trainz wise, there is more content over there to check out. So thank you guys so much for watching and all of the support. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.